Imagine you are a detective investigating a crime scene. To convict a suspect, you need proof that they operated in multiple different locations and struck at different times. In the medical world, diagnosing multiple sclerosis follows exact the same logic. According to official 2017 Revised McDonald's Criteria shown in this image, a doctor cannot officially diagnose multiple sclerosis without proving two things. 1. Dissemination in space, meaning the disease has hit different areas of the central nervous system. Second one, dissemination in time, meaning the attacks are happening at a distinct point in time. Let's break down the 5 scenarios doctors look at to solve the medical puzzle. Scenario 1, the open and shut case, that is more than 2 attacks with more than 2 lesions. This is most straightforward scenario on the table. If a patient has experienced 2 or more distinct clinical attacks like sudden vision loss or numbness, and MRI shows 2 or more distinct lesions in the brain or spinal cord, the mystery is solved. Because the symptoms and the physical scars, lesions, already prove the disease has struck in multiple places at multiple times, no additional test is needed to make the diagnosis. The clinical evidence alone speaks for itself. Coming to second scenario, the missing space element. Here, there are more than 2 attacks with one lesion. What happens if a patient has suffered 2 or more distinct attacks, but MRI reveals only one clear lesion? Here, we have proof of time, that is multiple attacks, but we are missing proof of space, that is multiple locations. To bridge this gap and officially diagnose multiple sclerosis, doctor needs to find dissemination in space. They do this by looking closer at the MRI for the hidden lesions in specific multiple sclerosis type zones. Or they simply have to wait for a future clinical attack that clearly points to a completely different area of the central nervous system. Coming to scenario 3, the missing time element, that is one attack with more than 2 lesions or equal to 2 lesions. Now flip the script. A patient comes after their very first neurological attack, but the MRI lights up with 2 or more lesions spread across different areas. Now we have space, but we don't have proof of time because it's only the first clinical episode. To solve this, the criteria offers 3 shortcuts to prove dissemination in time without making the patient wait for another painful attack. 1. An MRI showing a mix of both old, scarred lesions and active, currently inflamed lesions. Second one, lumbar puncture spinal tap that reveals CSF specific oligoclonal bands, unique proteins that act like signature of ongoing immune activity in the nervous system. Third one, if those are not present, the doctor must wait to see if a second clinical attack occurs. Coming to the fourth scenario, the ultimate puzzle, that is one attack, one lesion. This is the toughest clinical scenario, one attack and only one visible lesion on the scan. At this stage, it is considered as clinically isolated syndrome. The doctor has proof of absolutely nothing yet. No dissemination in space, no dissemination in time. To turn this into MS diagnosis, the doctor has to hunt both. They must find imaging proof of dissemination in space or wait for an attack in a new body site, and they must find a proof for dissemination in time via active or inactive lesions or MRI, the presence of CSF oligoclonal bands, or wait for a second clinical attack. Coming to scenario 5, the slow burn, that is primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Not all multiple sclerosis starts with sudden dramatic attack. Sometimes it's a slow steady decline right from the very beginning. This is called primary progressive multiple sclerosis. Notice how the table lists this as 0 clinical attacks. To diagnose this hidden feature of the disease, doctor requires at least 1 full year of continuous disease progression. On top of that year progression, they must check off at least 2 of the following requirements. 1. An MRI showing at least one T2 lesion in classic brain region like around the ventricles or cortex. In or second one, an MRI showing at least two distinct T2 lesions in the spinal cord. Third one, a positive CSF test showing those telling about oligoclonal bands. Before these 2017 revisions, patient often had to wait for years, suffering through multiple terrifying attacks just to get a name for what was happening to them. By allowing this, things like spinal fluid protein, that is oligoclonal bands, and specific MRI patterns to count as proof of time and space, this table allows doctors to diagnose MS much earlier, getting patients onto life changing treatment before more permanent damage happens.